Yahoo! Hello, 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 hello. And welcome back. For those who are new around here, welcome. It's just been so good to be back here after 5 weeks being away. I know I did a little bit of a stream um during the beginning of the program, and I did plan to do it towards the end, but it was just it was just a lot between trying to make sure I passed the class for one, because I mean, why am I there but to get an education? And then there's also and then there was also, well, all the emotional stuff that it came with it, and just trying not to break down when I was about to come home, because I was not ready to go home yet. But here I am, back in my old space, and trying to guess to quote from Dido's "Sand in My Shoes," trying to clean up the mess I made before I got here. So there's that. So, hello. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good week. So there's a few updates that have basically come up in terms of things that I've been doing lately. Not only in terms of travel, but also in terms of updating channel functions and all that stuff. So I wanted to get to those at some point, but for right now, I guess what I really just want to do is just catch everybody up on like just life, how it's been since I've actually gotten back from Japan, etc. And just want to talk about some stuff about my travels. I'm not going to spoil everything, obviously, because I want to save some stuff for the vlogs, which are going to come up on my second YouTube channel, Theological Otaku, pretty soon. So there's that. So I just really want to like keep some surprises, keep some interesting stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try not to blab. I want to blab about my experiences. I want to blab about my experiences, but I also want to like keep some surprises in terms of like what I've experienced and what I want to share with you guys. So, so I guess for now I could just start with maybe this channel, which at least I have some time to talk about what may be going on from this point onward. First off, I'm happy to say that I did manage to find a job as a reading tutor. So the contract is only for a year, but I at least have something that I can at least have more resources that I can work with to make the videos more interesting. However, that might mean a drop off in the number of streams that I'm able to do here. So don't be surprised if I had to cut back from what was around maybe like 5 times a week in the early half of the year, to maybe more down to maybe like 2 or 3 times a week later on, once the school year really kicks in. I know with school, at least, it was a lot easier to like slot some streams in because, well, I had a structure at that point, and also I have resources and things I can actually talk about. But with this, and especially now that I'm kind of realizing that my energy has changed quite a bit over the past few years, especially after the lockdown, I am starting to recognize that I might not be able to stream as easily as I did in the past. And for all I know, it could be just this year, it could be just for this period, but I just want to give you a heads up that if I do happen to change my streaming dates pretty frequently, due to work, y'all know why. At least I've warned you guys in advance. That's what's going on. But I really wanted to like say that up front, like, granted, it's not going to be as like random as it was in the past, where I have my event tech job, so like things were kind of on call when it came to that job. But this one is more consistent, so I'm hoping that things won't change too dramatically, but in case they do, you know why. Um, like I said, like I said in my Discord yesterday, I originally planned on streaming literally around this time last night, but two words, jet lag. Like, jet lag has been hitting significantly this time. Like, it's been over a week since I came back home, and I only got the energy to finally stay awake at a normal hour and stream at a normal time literally just today. And I have to admit, it's been frustrating. And I really wanted to start things off differently when I came back. I was ready to, I pretty much had everything basically all set, ready to go with my set, with my setup and all that. And speaking of setups, I need to double check to make sure it's actually the right thing. Because I know sometimes I put it on just chatting. Hold up. Hold the phone. Can I find you? And oh, happy birthday, Messa. I just saw that you resubscribed, and also you've reached my a 5 stream streak despite me not streaming for 5 weeks. So you are a real one. So happy birthday. And because it is your birthday today, you are going to get a special reading from moi. So stay tuned for that. Let me just make sure I got the correct thing. Yep, of course. It's on just chatting. I gotta fix that. Which, I mean, this first part's just chatting, so I could probably just keep it like that for now, and then I'll switch to tarot when we get to that point. But anyways. So yeah, jet lag has been killing my stream energy. Like, I really wanted to jump back, actually, the moment I came back home, but I was just way too tired. Like, I had so many instances where I would want to crash at noon because it would be around like midnight or 1 a.m. back in Japan. And I'd just be way too tired to just do anything during the day. Like, I mostly probably be able to do maybe like 1 or 2 tasks, and then I just want to sleep for the rest of the day. And then I wake up and it's dark. And it's like, ugh, what am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do? So I would just distract myself into maybe like 3 or 4 a.m., fall asleep, wake up at maybe like 7 a.m. in the morning, 7 a.m., walk around first thing in the morning, which, I mean, it's pretty in the morning. It's why morning people exist. But on the other hand, though, it was just getting so annoying that I just couldn't function. And so yesterday I really wanted to stream, and I slept through what should have been the first hour of my stream, and I just had to be like, I had to just fess up and say, listen, jet lag took me out. I wanted to stream today, but clearly my body's like, nope, I gotta sleep more. This is the first normal day I've had since I got back home. Like, jet lag really takes me out, apparently. It really does. But I think I'm probably mostly over it. Knock on wood. And I should be like back to normal stuff probably by the end of this week, hopefully. The other thing is that I had to basically send my stuff over via shipping, and right now my package is out of customs, but I have no idea where in the world that went, because the way people were talking about it, it sounded like as if it was going to come over here by Friday. But I haven't heard anything since it passed out of customs on Friday. So I basically called up USPS, be like, hey, can you investigate where my package is? But I was like, you know what? The package going to get here was going to get here. So I was like, okay, let me just have USPS just update me when they find out more information. And in the meantime, I'm just going to talk about Japan and stuff while I'm here. So here we are. It's been a bit of a mess. But I've been doing my best every day. And similarly to Mesa, I'm kind of coming through a little bit of a zenith right here at this point, because my birthday is in a week, like in about a week and a half. Like, just, yeah, like it's in about a week, a little over a week, and it just feels so surreal that like 33 is coming to an end, and also the first half of the year is gone already. We're on the second half now, and it's just I'm kind of in awe with how much I've been able to do over these past few months. I mean, going to a convention, fundraising for studying abroad, actually studying abroad in a country that I've always dreamed about going to since I was a kid, and doing so many things in the language, despite my fluency kind of being still in the infant stage for the most part. I think JLPT wise, I could probably say that my skills are around an N4, or an A2 in the Cepher scale. As you saw in the description, I feel like it's more solidly N4 now. But there's a lot clearly that I need to refresh in terms of my skills, and that's the thing I'm hoping to do with this channel as well, that I want to take some time and actually refresh the skills that may have gone rusty from, well, in this case, it's mainly like disuse and burnout from after coming back from Middlebury last year, but then also just forgetting some pretty fundamental stuff, which I started getting back thanks to being in Japan, and it certainly helped me recognize what I actually know, which is a lot, especially when it comes to the culture. I was surprised about how much I was able to blend in, despite not being Japanese in any extent, and also being able to understand the purposes of things going on there. I was really surprised about how much I was able to understand. And also where I can stand to improve once I finally get the resources to maybe get some tutoring down the line. But for right now, I'm pretty proud of what I've been able to accomplish and how far I've come up until this point. I mean, even just a little earlier today, for the very first time ever, I did a TikTok live. And while traffic was kind of small, but I had a lot of interesting people come by and say hello and check out the ratings and stuff. So it was not empty labor. It was not an empty labor what I've been doing these past 5 weeks. And I feel really happy with all the things I managed to do. I feel really proud of myself for taking all these leaps of faith, and I'm taking more leaps of faith as I go. And I admit, I have to be frank. There's still so many questions that I have in terms of what I want to do in the future. I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I want and what it is that I'm doing. But I feel like in terms of my confidence and my creativity, and I think certainly, which I hope that I managed to demonstrate through the readings that I do, through here and from this point onward, the thing I hope to accomplish, through these streams is that I'm able to help you guys feel more confident as you go, and certainly in terms of my own demonstrations of what I decide to accomplish on my streams. I feel like I'm talking gibberish. Let me just rephrase that. Hold on. Sorry. Long story short, I feel like I've had this new energy when it comes to talking about certain topics on my channel, and I feel like especially my confidence has been reestablished in terms of how I do my readings, because I have a tendency to overthink and stick to a very, very tight script. And I found through the few readings that I did do in Japan, even though it wasn't that many, it was mainly with like my classmates and the people that I've met, which reminds me, I need to contact one of my dorm mates to give me a contact from people in my program, because it's one person who really wanted me to do a love reading for them, and I owe her that at least, so I need to like do that after the stream's over. So that was a good reminder for me. But anyway, lately I'm starting to try and go more off book and more instinctual, which is, I admit, not my forte. I very much like to credit my resources where it's due, and I still do that every day. But I also am wanting to rely more on my intuition and stuff. And that's what I found when I was in Japan, was that I was very much relying on my intuition when it came to my language, and certainly when it came to my spirituality, because the rituals that I was doing when I was there was very different from what I usually do here in the US. I wasn't meditating as much as I typically would, and I certainly wasn't doing anything magically that much back when, like, compared to like when I'm here in the US, where I got all my tools and stuff. Now, I'm trying not to be so dependent on tools when it comes to my spirituality, because I mean, that's how we often start. It's just not, you don't have to rely so much on the tools. You can just rely on like your hands and your senses and whatever's in front of you. But I kind of feel like, as I look back on like why I haven't been looking upon my spirituality as much as I was there, it's not necessarily because of, contrary to how popular culture tends to talk about East Asia and spirituality, most people tend to talk about it in terms of atheism, which, I mean, there certainly are atheists in Japan. They're there. I guess maybe because of the region that I was in, or maybe because of the spaces that I was occupying, I didn't really get atheism so much as they don't need to proselytize so hard over there compared to here in the US or here in the West. Because unlike the West, here, like, not here, in Japan, their spirituality, I mean, maybe I'm coming from a very Western / academic mindset here, but their spirituality feels a lot more embodied. Like it's just right there outside the front door, rather than having to like reaffirm it every few moments, or remind it like this is the way, essentially. There's even literally a saying that kind of covers the sentiment from Shinto called Yayorozu no Kami, which literally translates to 8 million gods, which means like basically there's an infinite number of exactly that. But yeah, it's like basically, yeah, it's basically like it basically feels more embodied. Like everywhere you go, you just sense the presence of the divine everywhere. You just it's like you just see it. You just feel it. Like when I was at the temples, when I was in these various settings, even just sitting in the middle of a park, you felt something there. Like I already felt it just from like my personal meditative standpoints. Like I've worked with this one kami, or megami, to be more specific. Ameno Uzume no Mikoto. I've worked with her for a number of years now. And it's like I already felt the power of these gods, but then like actually being there was something else about it that it's ineffable. It's really hard to explain, but it was just very tangible. And then in particular, Inari. Inari was very prominent in the region that I was in. And if Inari sounds familiar, Inari is a god of agriculture, and as well as foxes and business. And Inari doesn't have is not really boxed into gender either. Inari can be a god or a goddess as well. The more famous interpretation of Inari is like the foxes or the kitsune, but the foxes are actually they're messengers, not so much the god himself. But yeah, Inari has a very wide presence, and she was very popular, especially in the region that I was in Fukuoka. So that was really fascinating. There's also collectives of gods that are also very popular. Not just in the Shinto shrines, but also the Buddhist shrines too. There's a lot of like bodhisattvas, and especially bodhisattvas that have divine personifications in Buddhism and in Shinto that were basically everywhere when I was in Japan. Like for example, I went to a shrine for Benzaiten, which is the Buddhist equivalent of Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of abundance. And I felt it was such a really small temple too. That's the other thing that I found really interesting, is that I found the smaller temples to be way more fascinating and peaceful compared to like the bigger settings that are often more commonly visited, like Dazaifu or Torikai Hachimangu or the Tenmangu, which are like the Tenmangu or the Hachimangu are like the collectives for like the Shinto gods, like of a certain ilk. Not that I didn't enjoy those huger temples like the Dazaifu and the Hachimangu shrines, but like the smaller, more intimate shrines are the ones I felt like I had the most powerful experiences, in my opinion. I feel like I'm going all over the place, so this is what happens when you do things unscripted. But yeah, long story short, I don't really get like an atheism so much as like an embodiment, more so of the faith. And so as a result, it doesn't feel like as if there's this sense of having to like split it up so much as just living it. And I think if anything, it's also kind of demonstrating that I think this is what most spiritual people tend to want at the end of the day, which is just to be able to practice in peace and practice in that embodiment. and less so on the proselytizing of like, this is the one way and nothing else. Yeah, in other words, yeah, it's basically faith versus religion in some ways. But I also don't want to like go down that rabbit hole of like, this is why religion is wrong, etc. But more so in terms of, I think more so how we do religious and faith discourse certainly needs to change. And I'm very happy that in a lot of ways it has been changing. Especially when it comes to focusing on people's well-being. We've been seeing it with the Vatican, certainly with Pope Leo, talking about the ethics of AI and all this stuff. And now I think we also likewise need to do it amongst ourselves as people, as spiritual people, as people in this community as well. And I feel like walking through Japan has helped me start to articulate those experiences. So that's what I found interesting. So I bet y'all are probably wondering, what did I get while I was there? And I brought my bag of treasures here. This is just scratching the surface of what I got. So I know some friends are probably tuning in right now, so I hope y'all enjoy some of these. So I've been snacking on these a little bit earlier. I got these mandu, which is like these dumplings that are made out of like rice flour and red bean paste. But unlike the mandu that I often use to, which is like more mochi-like, this one came out almost bread-like. It's really interesting. It was really fascinating. But I also found it pretty delicious. I also like how well packaged Japanese confectionaries tend to be. But yeah, if you look at that, it's way more bread-like than it is mochi-like. And surprisingly, it's really good. Like I like it better actually as the more bread-like consistency. But I think it's probably because they steamed it. That's my theory. But I bought this during the Yamakasa festival that happened last week, where they have these giant palanquins, the Yamakasa, which has like, it's like a sacred festival. They started a Buddhist shrine, they ended a Shinto shrine. It's pretty cool stuff. And then they had these limited edition mandu, and that's the Yamakasa illustrated on the front here. And those things weigh a ton. And there's like only teams of like 23 men that would lift it. And they would just run around the road, like run around the streets for about half an hour, lifting this thing, running around with it. There are wheels underneath it, but you still have to like lift it in order to make it move. So it's a true effort. It was really impressive. I had to wake up super early in the morning to catch it, but it was totally worth it. Even though my final video for the project kind of came out kind of terrible when it came to my pronunciation. Add in 30 seconds. Okay. For those who can't do ads, who want to just hear what I have to say, feel free to switch to my YouTube channel. Because I don't want to interrupt too much. because my mind is kind of all over the place because of jet lag. Yeah, I can't stop it. But anyways, yeah, I couldn't stop the ad in time. Sorry, guys. But anyway, as I was saying, I had to wake up super early in the morning for this thing. So around like 3 or 4 a.m., ride all the way to Nakasu Kawabata, and then find like an ideal spot to kind of park and see them passing. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty impressive to watch. It was totally worth it. Apparently, they've been doing this festival for hundreds of years. Probably might have hit the 1,000 mark already with the way that Japan has managed to preserve the traditions as well as they have. But yeah, it was really incredible to watch. It was certainly a lot of fun to film, and I'm looking forward to sharing my vlogs, which I'm hoping to release near the end of August. Like, that's the plan. The plan is for me to release these vlogs by the end of August. That's what I hope to do. So there's that. Other things that I did. I also went to Kumamoto. Hello, Kumamon. Unfortunately, that was the one bucket list item that I could not get to, which was to eat some Kumamoto ramen in Kumamoto. But I did go to Kumamoto Castle, and I had a great time there. And I also went to this place called Yufuin, which has been nicknamed the Ghibli Town because the place literally does look like as if it came out of My Neighbor Totoro. Like, you totally see why it's called the Ghibli Town. There's even this one temple that is right near an old cedar tree that has like a rope wrapped around it. And I checked it out with a couple of my friends, and it was in the middle of the rainy season, so you could still kind of see fog going over the mountains and the trees, and it was just surprisingly very peaceful. It was very, very peaceful there. And my friend said that this was where, well, unfortunately, she injured her foot prior to this trip, so she had to like use a wheelchair to get around. But she said that that was the place where she felt the kami most tangibly. I mean, we were in the middle of the rainy season. We had to go down this pretty steep road. But it led to this very gorgeous, kind of out of the way shrine with a giant cedar in the front of it. And I felt like, I think that was where we kind of had one of the most profound moments of the trip. It was just nothing too dramatic. It was just being there in awe of the trees and the little bits of rain that just occasionally came up. It was a pretty incredible experience. And while I was there, I bought some snacks, both in Kumamoto and in Yufuin. So in Yufuin, I bought these dried oranges. Rest assured for Runcie, she would actually be able to eat this one. Because, that's presuming that I even don't eat it all before she gets here. But it's basically just oranges and sugar. So she wouldn't have to worry about her allergies on this one. It's just oranges and sugar. And then I also got this sesame snack, which I already ate. I got 2 of them. I ate one of them the moment I got back here. Still really good the day I got it. And oh yeah, the other thing that you kind of have to watch out for, which thankfully was pretty easy to figure out, it's the garbage system in Japan. So there's like 2 classes of garbage, which is burnable and non-burnable. And then within the non-burnables, there's 2 different kinds. There's recyclables, like glass and paper. Paper has its own special handling. It's like you go to a special facility and just drop them off. And then there's things for bottles and drinks and cosmetics, which is a different kind of bottle altogether. I've explained that in my vlog. But the thing you'll find interesting is that the ones that have the words pura, like this katakana right here, the pura katakana, that's actually burnable. Actually, that's the burnable trash. And then if it has like this one giant kanji with like the paper and the recycle symbol, that means you can take it to a recyclable facility or put it in one of the recycling bags. It also depends on what prefecture you're in, but for the most part, that's like the 3 major categories you'll find when it comes to disposing stuff. The other thing is that you may have to bring your own bag, or like bring like your own hand towel, because there are not as many bins in Japan as compared to most other regions. So you really have to be on top of that and know how to separate it. Yeah, basically like in Korea. Exactly. But it's even more sparse in Japan, if you can believe it. Except for like vending machines. Vending machines are everywhere. But of course, because I like my Kumamoto ramen, and I like Kumamon, of course, I had to get my own Kumamon plush. I mean, come on. Kumamon's so cute. Kumamon's like one of my favorite Japanese mascots, my Japanese national mascots. I know, funnily enough, I did go to the Sanrio store several times, but I did not get a Hello Kitty one time I was there. Like, not once. Kind of ironic, but I couldn't decide. And I think it was because, like, well, there were some people who, like, there were so many people who were, like, they had, like, I don't know how they managed to figure this out, but so many people, like, had their characters they already picked out, from the Sanrio line, and meanwhile, I had no idea who I wanted to have. It was kind of interesting. Like, everybody had, like, their solid favorites, and I had no idea. And the one that, like, I wouldn't have minded getting, which is Retsuko, aka Agretsuko, they weren't selling it in the Sanrio store, even though Retsuko was created by Sanrio. I found that interesting that, like, she wasn't very popular, or at least, like, she wasn't highlighted as much in Sanrio in Japan. And meanwhile, you can find her everywhere in the US stores. I found that so interesting. I was like, hey Fern, I'm talking about Japan. But I guess the closest I kind of got in terms of figuring out what my character is, at least one that I'm trying, is well, two of them actually, is Kiddo Pokopi, I think it's one of them. But the other one is Pochacho, which is like this really cute puppy character. So I got this pencil, and this pencil is fascinating in multiple ways, because I mean this is like Japanese stationery in a nutshell. And I admit, this is the one thing that I kind of went a little crazy over, was Japanese stationery. I got myself a diary, which I'm still waiting for the shipment on, by the way. That's one of the things that was in the box that I shipped myself. But then also, just Japanese stationery, check this out. So, the clicking mechanism on this is on the pen, like on the clip part itself. You can also lock it, because the other interesting function that it has, besides clicking it, is that if you shake it, lead comes out that way. You can shake it, and then you can get out the lead that way. And then the most interesting part, which I heard from my friends who has, like, one of my friends who has the exact same pencil, because I've had to use it, the lead rotates. The lead rotates. So you always get like a consistent point when you write. That's the really cool part about Japanese stationery, is that, like, small things like that. If you want more lead, you can press the clip or shake it. And then the eraser, you just turn that. Bro. And that's genius. That's honestly just right there. And then, hold on, there's more. If you are more on the regular side, and Pilot is very popular in Japan. I got one of the erasable Pilot pens. I've been using it practically every day since I got it. And it's refillable too, which I really like. But if you lean more towards the traditional one, here's the one I got from my... Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, Pilot, I can't live without my Pilot G2s. Like, those things are my savior when it comes to journaling pens. Like, they're so smooth. They are so smooth. Yes, it is. But yeah, if you want to lean more towards the traditional writing stuff, there's a pencil for that too. The brand is called Tombow Monograph, if you want to try it out yourself. But I got like this one from my study abroad university, and it's like a typical clicky, which I like. And then the eraser is hidden in the tip like that, and you can just take off the top if you want to swap out the eraser. I mean, sometimes it's not even about the handwriting, it's just the feeling of it in your hand. And this is so lightweight. Like, you would think with the mechanisms that it has, okay, this one has a little bit more of a heft to it, but it feels like this one feels lightweight in your hand. Like, even with this one having heft, it's still not that bad in terms of like the way it gets positioned when it comes to writing. Like, they don't have to have the most Virgo brand ever. But I mean, there's a reason why Japanese stationery has been hyped so much. Like, it's stuff like, it's little things like this. And then, okay, other things that I got. So, I am a tea fiend, as y'all know, and I got so many bags of tea from everywhere. So, I met this farmer, Kumamoto, and I was like, do you have a recommendation of which one that you want me to get? And he recommended this one to me. I have to drink it, but he said it's really good. I did have a sample of it while I was there, and it was good. So, I'm like, matcha lattes, here I come. And they are popular over there, actually. So, it's not blasphemy, actually, to talk about matcha lattes in Japan. So rest assured, people, you can enjoy your matcha lattes in peace. They're pretty cool with it. And then I also got this one. This one's from Itoen. Another very popular tea brand in Japan. And this is specifically a matcha latte mix. So I would love to compare between Kumamoto matcha, like from straight up matcha, from this one, which was selected by Itoen, which, fun fact, I believe one of their major headquarters is in Fukuoka, because we did drive past it when we were on our way to Dazaifu. Yeah, they're surprisingly chill in a lot of respects. In a lot of ways. Of course, within reason. So there's that. Even with that, I don't like to push things too hard. And then I bought this really cute tea. I bought two of them. I don't know where my other one is, but I bought this one in Saga. It is like a bread tea, or like a bread-friendly tea. Not surprising, because I mean, it's not... it wasn't developed by any Japanese developers. There's that. So kind of surprised they were pissed off by that. And the funniest thing was that we actually were a boat ride away from Tsushima, as in Ghost of Tsushima Island. That was pretty cool. And then, let me see. I didn't end up going this trip, but I want to go next trip, so. Okay, and then some of this stuff I got pretty early on in my trip. I got this from Animate. I bought this really cool Castle in the Sky A4 illustration. They had a lot of these. I wanted to get a new deck, but there just wasn't time. There wasn't time for me to go to any of the shops. That, and also, well, low funds as well. Like, I only had so much that I could use. So, again, that is like next trip for sure if I want to get one. However, I did get a reading. I did get a reading in Japanese. That was pretty cool. My host family's from Saga, so I got these Saga pins. And gosh, the home visit. Shout out to Aoi if she happens to be watching this. They were so kind. They dressed me up in a yukata, and then my other buddy in Jinbei, and then they even took us to their family temple and their family like their family ancestral shrine. And I was like, wow, like this is such an honor. And then everybody, like, I told the story, and everyone was like saying to me, like, you basically just got adopted. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm just happy that I'm even here. Like, hello? But yeah, I got some Pokemon vinyl stickers. Of course, because this year is the year of the Fire Horse, I had to get myself a Ponyta sticker. And then I got myself the Pikachu as well. And then I don't know, I know Messa's definitely seen this. But during the first week of me being in Japan, um I went to the Pokemon Center and the Nintendo store. It's where I got these hair clips actually, is from the Pokemon store. Sorry, not the Pokemon store, the Nintendo shop. The Nintendo shop in particular, there was so there was so much stuff. Oh my god, there was so much. I had a hard time picking what I wanted to get cuz like there was merch everywhere. There was merch everywhere. It was just so hard. They had just released new Super Mario Galaxy merch. They, of course, Animal Crossing is the big thing right now. So they had so many things for Animal Crossing and also Kirby, because Kirby Air Ride came out. Super Mario, like Mario Kart World had just come out by the time I got there. So like they were pretty fresh off of that. There's a bunch of Splatoon items. There was so much. All I could really handle was getting this. But I'm happy because I've been wearing these practically. I'm wearing these quite a lot whenever I don't feel like putting my hair up all the way. So it was a good purchase. And they even gave me this. Which is like a Hakata City exclusive sticker for the Nintendo shop. So that was pretty cool. Oh yeah, I forgot, Fern. You've been there. Where'd you go? Did you go like to Tokyo or somewhere else? Kyoto, Tokyo, Hakone, and Akihabara. Okay, nice. So basically, yeah, basically more northern. Well, northern relative to Fukuoka. Then again, most places are northern compared to Fukuoka, so that's not saying much. Anyways, but yeah, I got myself a Pokeball because I mean the M has like part of my government name. It did not come with a Pokemon inside it, so I'm gonna have to purchase one next time I go to a shop. But I did store my jewelry in here at one point because I didn't want it to like fly everywhere, and it was pretty useful for that. And for those who remember my live stream from the first week of Japan, I got this for Runcie. Oh my god, bro! Hello! I'm talking about Japan. Yeah, Root was like one of the few streamers I managed to tune into while I was in Japan, so shout out to Root. Yes! I missed you too! But yeah, oh my god. Like, she was one of the few that Yeah, I sure did. Thank you. I sure did. And I bought myself this Jirachi because I mean, come on. I loved the Wishmaker movie. And back when I played Pokemon Coliseum, I managed to get it in time to get the Jirachi cheat code. Not really a cheat code, but like the exclusive thing. And so I was able to add Jirachi as one character to my roster. So Jirachi is like very significant to me. I kind of like those time warpy Pokemon. Those time warpy Pokemon like Jirachi and Celebi and Ho-Oh, like those kind of like bendy stuff. And I do like Mew, but I also had a thing for Mewtwo as well, actually. I actually liked both of them. It's kind of like how with the evolutions, in particular with Espeon and Umbreon, I think it was. Like a two psychic types. But yeah, I got so much. And then of course, come on, you're the fire horse. Had to get the Ponyta. It was so cute and so pretty and super affordable. And in the Pokemon Center, you can spend in USD as well. Which I ended up doing. I found out that was the cheaper one compared to using yen at that point. And the amazing part is that all of this, I think this would have hit like maybe like $70 in the US, this is including these cards here. $40. $40. Yeah, all this was $40. I think that's what it is too. And then, yeah, the cards, they sold them in a very particular way. They were all like, you can't return these. And then, like, you had to seal, like, they were sealing them up and all these particular ways. And, like, the maximum of 10 packs per version, etc. Like, they were very particular with this one. And then they also get, because I do play Pokemon Go, they also gave me this Pokemon Go Community Day sticker. So that was pretty cool. And then I think that I unwrapped the cards on camera, but if I didn't, here is what I got. I forgot they even had like characters like these. And then I got a few hollow ones. But yeah, it feels like a lot of my coworkers, like my former coworkers, had Pokemon card, like Japanese Pokemon cards. So I wanted to get some of my own that I could frame up. So that's pretty cool. And then I also noticed that like Peanuts, like, you know, like Snoopy, Charlie Brown, that's true. The US tends to blow up everything. I mean, Japan does it too though, with certain properties. Like they certainly do that with certain properties. But like compared to the US though, makes us look like small potatoes. But yeah, they're like Peanuts. True. When it comes to tourist prices, yeah, this is basically nothing to me. If I were making a Japanese salary, this would have been a lot. For sure. That's the one thing like if there's one thing that traveling certainly humbles you about, it's the reminder that especially if you come from a country where your net worth would be so much higher in another place, like Japan, you get humbled real fast that, like, you remember that people who actually live there, who actually work there, who work in those limited salaries are not as fortunate as you. And so you really are hyper aware of the privilege that you have. And yeah, this is coming from this is basically coming from somebody who is not even that wealthy here in the United States. There's only so much I can really do here. So that should say something. But yeah, getting back to items here. Peanuts. aka like Snoopy, Charlie Brown, those kinds of characters, they are super popular in Japan as well. And you wouldn't think it would be, because I mean it's a very American property, but no, it's huge. It's huge in Japan. Um, there's an entire Snoopy shop, and so I got like these really cute keychains. My favorite Snoopy version is Joe Cool. So I got myself a Joe Cool keychain. Because I mean, Joe Cool has an entire theme song. Like, why wouldn't I get it? And then another thing that's super popular in Japan, which I didn't have the time to look for this, but I'm hoping I might be able to do that next trip, is a new purse. I really wanted to get a new purse, but I didn't have the time. I just couldn't pick out which one I wanted. But I did get a purse charm, because in Japan right now they're having like a huge anniversary party for Sailor Moon, because I think the property just turned 30. Yeah, it just turned 30. So they actually had a transplant, like a moving exhibition / shop for Sailor Moon. And they had all of these Sailor Moon merch and keychains. And so, come on, me being the Moonie I am, I had to get the purse. I had to get the purse charm. I had to get the keychain. I had to. Because I love me some Sailor Moon. I love it. And then also, I don't think I have it in. I might have to dig for through my stuff actually. But I also got myself a Madoka Magica Soul Gem charm. And okay, this is the hilarious thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot here a little bit. So this is the hilarious thing. So like, I go to the gachapon machine. That's like one of the very first ones that I noticed, and I go there and I get a soul gem. And the hilarious thing is that Hyun is playing the Madoka Magica game, and the one character that they're struggling to get is Kyoko. And meanwhile, I go to the gachapon machine. The very first charm I get is Kyoko. And then not long after these conversations we have, the new film Walpurgis Nacht Rising gets announced. The first one, like, the film gets announced not long after we have this conversation. And I'm sending the trailer in like real time as well, like what I got in Japan, and then of course Aniplex USA translates the trailer pretty much ASAP and puts it out long afterwards. We still did not yet have a release date for like the English translation, but in Japan at least they're getting it. I think like the film itself is coming out sometime in the fall. I know that much. But oh my god. Interesting time to be a magical girl fan, especially Madoka Magica. Oh no! That sucks. But yeah, getting back to like magical girl fandoms. I mentioned this during my TikTok live earlier. But a thing that's very popular in gachapons is flat gachas. So like, if you want to get like a sticker or something, you can do that. And there was a flat gacha for Kakato Sakura. I had to go through 3 gachapon shops to get this one, okay? Because 2 of the ones I went to, they sold out. But thankfully, this one actually had it. It was 400 yen, but I think it was worth it. So, so these are Cardcaptor Sakura nail vinyls. Like, these are like nail art stickers. And these have basically, both her, like, basically all the art and the costumes from, like, the OG Cloud cards to the clear card variants. And it even has the costumes, too. There's, like, 5 different versions of this. And I got one. But yeah, I was chasing that CCS and I finally got it. I did see a CCS Nendoroid, like, on sale for 1,000 yen, like 1,500 yen. That was so tempting, not gonna lie. But that was when I was getting really, really tight too, really financially tight. So I ended up not getting it. But I'm not gonna hesitate the next time I'm there. I know. It was so, but like, I know for USD it's nothing, but like, I wish I got it now. But like, on the other hand though, I don't collect Nendoroids. Ironically, I collect Funko Pops, but I don't. I know. But like, spending that much, it just the one thing I did get for myself was manga pens. I really wanted some manga pens for a while. And I was actually able to test run these during one of my classes. I couldn't keep them. So I was like, you know what? I really liked this. I'm going to get some. So I got these. And this is like industry standard too. It comes with a G pen, a Maru pen, and a Saji pen. Like, all 3 of these are standard in the industry. I really wanted this, so I'm glad I got it. Back to ad channel. I think because it's Sunday, it's ad church. We're an ad church. But yeah, I know. Like, I don't know what my brain was doing, but then again, I think it was because I was getting to the latter half of the program. I had to basically scrounge up what little resources that I had at that point. Like, I was getting pretty broke, even by Japanese standards, so that didn't help things too much. So I had to make choices, and Sakura unfortunately got sacrificed in the choice. So that was not easy. I know. There is one knock. There is one knock I have to give when it comes to Japanese finances, and it's that it's very cash dependent. I get it, and yet it's frustrating. And the other reason why I didn't jump on that figurine, Hyun, is because I literally did not have the physical cash for it. I would have had to run all the way to like an inconvenient location to go to an ATM and take some out, and had to be very particular about which ATMs that I could go to as well, because my card actually, like, in particular Cash App cards, if anybody has a Cash App card, y'all know this, but Cash App in particular, it behaves so weirdly, because 7-Eleven has the best surcharges if you want to make sure it doesn't feel like highway robbery when you take out cash. But for Cash App cards in particular, you can only take out cash in 10,000 yen increments on 7-Eleven ATMs. So basically, I had to basically take out the equivalent of like $65 if I wanted to get cash for something. I couldn't do smaller denominations. Buffering. Let me try something. Okay. I closed up, right. I closed up Steam and Discord. Hopefully it should make things a little better. But anyway. So yeah, I had to go to like some very inconvenient places in order to take out money. And then there were Japanese ATMs that did give me smaller denominations, but the surcharges were ridiculous. Like the post office, for example. It was like between $7 and $10 for a surcharge if you want to take out some like individual denominations. And then the card company itself would add a supplemental like maybe like $2 or $3 surcharge if you went to an ATM outside of their network. So yeah, kind of ridiculous. I mean, thankfully, in the case of like Fukuoka, like some parts of Fukuoka, they are much more chill when it comes to card transactions, but there were just as many, if not more, places that I came across that were way more cash only. So it felt like it was very much a game of how do I hang on to as much physical yen as possible so I did not have to visit an ATM again. But then at the same time, though, it was almost like I had to break it down enough so that way there were less frequent trips to the ATM. Though there's one thing that's a lifesaver. If you do happen to go somewhere and you know you're probably not going to be going near an ATM anytime soon, keep an eye out for Rakuten Pay in particular, because if it has Rakuten Pay, odds are pretty good they'll take your card just fine. If you're walking around with cash, you say individual. Meanwhile, like, cash is like par for the course in Japan. If anything, like for some places, like if you don't carry cash, especially in some places, especially like if you're going to like a karaoke spot, you're kind of SOL. And I came across that too many times where like I had the money, but I just didn't have it with me, and I just felt like I was just inconveniencing everybody, just running all the way to the ATM. Taking out money and then coming back and then paying people later. It was just so exhausting. So exhausting. Exhausting and embarrassing. And then like here, it's just like in the States, like we just combine. Like sometimes if you didn't have enough money on you, like physically, you could just combine transactions. Like do part of the stuff in cash and do part of the stuff in cash and then do part of it in card, which in the US that's what I end up doing most of the time anyway. Sometimes I don't have it all in the card, so I just put part of it in the cash and the rest in the card. I did that once when I was in Japan, but I try not to make it a habit of it. But okay, other things. If there's one place that I got super addicted to when I was in Japan, it was Don Quixote. Don Quixote has amazing deals. Okay. They have amazing deals. Managed to get this face trimmer for like 700 yen. And that was with tax, by the way. And then Nana. Nana, if anybody remembers that manga and that anime, they're going through an anniversary too. And so as a result, they had all this merch, they had all these clothes, which obviously me being a plus size girly already in the US, I was going to struggle even more in Japan. Surprisingly though, I'm smaller than I thought I was. I'm a 3L in Japanese sizes. I thought it was going to be a 5L. I'm a 3L, it turns out. So much smaller than I thought I was going to be. Most of the shops went as high as L or 2L. So I knew I wasn't going to be looking that front. But they had Nana makeup, specifically eyeliner. And of course, me being the hardcore fan I am, even though I literally bought an eyeliner from Heroin Make just a few moments earlier, I had to get the Nana eyeliner. I mean, come on. I had to get this because this was limited edition. And plus, it was super thin and it's refillable. So I never have to toss this out. But yeah, I had to get this. I know. I fell for the trap. I fell for the capitalist trap of saying limited edition. But ironically, when it comes to Japan, when they say limited edition, they literally do mean limited edition. Once their stuff is sold out, that's it. They're not making it again. So I was like, all the more reason why I needed to get this. As a hardcore Nana fan, especially. I missed out on the Vivienne Westwood collection. I was not going to miss out on this. Japan is the neurodivergent capital of Asia, and Finland the neurodivergent capital of Europe. And then I also, this is stuff that I swear by. Like, the other thing that they're really good at is beauty products. In addition to Korea, I also bought myself some sheet masks. Hold on. So, I bought myself some stuff. I bought myself some skincare stuff. As always. Because I'm a skincare fiend. I brought some of Hyun's sheet masks they bought me last time they went to South Korea. And yeah, Japan also is pretty competitive when it comes to the sheet mask market. And in particular, because my brother's field is in exosomes, I really wanted to keep an eye out for exosome-based products. And I only found 2 of them. And they were sheet masks. And one of them had an award for it. The Cosme Award. This thing here. So, I bought myself this just to let myself test it out. It's only one of 2 companies that do exosome-derived, well, in particular, the exosomes that he does. It's one of 2 exosome-derived products that I saw. And I bought 2 of them because I figured I wanted to keep one for research purposes and the other one for just nice having extra. I tried it out and it was like my face looked completely different afterwards. It was like I got a new face. I have a photo of this too, which I will show you after once I put on the vlogs, but it was like 15 minutes of that mask. I look as if I had a different face in a good way. Like, it felt so smooth. I was like, this mask is witchcraft. This mask has witchcraft. Combine it with the Korean serums I've been using every day. Combined with the Korean serums I've been using every day, and it was like I didn't recognize my face. For me, I don't discriminate. If there's good skincare, I'm going to use it. The other thing I swear by, and it's one thing I recommend you get if you go to Japan, because I know especially for Americans and Canadians especially, I know Canadians have an easier time getting this stuff, but for my fellow Americans especially, if you want this, do it while you're there. Get yourself a bottle of Apricot toothpaste. Get yourself a bottle of Apricot toothpaste. Do yourself a favor and get this. You see, I can explain why. Because in particular, there's an ingredient called nanohydroxyapatite, which is the stuff that helps you rebuild your enamel. In the US, I mean, it started getting easier to get, but it's still kind of hard to get it at an affordable price. Canada has a lot easier time getting it, but even so, I still recommend getting it in Japan because it's way cheaper. Obviously because it's from there, but still. So if you want to bargain, get this. And in particular, get Premio and Serena are the 2 that I recommend. Premio is if you want to get the best of the tooth repairing effects. Serena is for the whitening. Yeah, the moment I saw this pack, I had to get this. I had to, and I'm glad that I did. And that is the big question, Fern. It's like, I don't know how soon I'm gonna go. I am praying, I am hoping that it's next year. Because the plan, I'm hoping, is that I'm thinking either I go before or after Korea. Because I am planning to go to Korea during World Youth Day, which is happening around my birthday week next year. And oof. Oh man. And it would have been fun too, man. But yeah, I mean, they say that if you see Mount Fuji when you're on your homecoming flight, they say that that you're guaranteed to come back next year. And well, it was dark when I flew back, so I don't know what the odds are at that point, but I did see an illustration, like a Hokusai illustration of Mount Fuji when I got out of airport security while I was waiting for my flight back to New York. So I guess technically I saw Mount Fuji in a way. So maybe next year? I'm hoping. I mean, I had a friend in this program who actually came to Japan for the very first time the year before, and he saw Mount Fuji on his way back home in India, and literally just short of a year later he came back. So if it happened to him, I have some hopes it could happen to me. And plus, I mean, I have so many friends over there now, between my new friends in Fukuoka, I have a friend who stays in Osaka. I have another friend I have a bunch of friends in Tokyo right now. I have so many people that I know over there now that regardless of when I go, I have an excuse to go see them in Japan. And also, the thing that really stood out to me was how much, like, even with the gaps I know I have in my language skills, I was pretty impressed by how much I was able to navigate. And good night, Messa. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will definitely do your birthday reading for sure the next time you tune in, okay? You get plenty of rest. But yeah, I really, like, the first thing I felt when I had just barely cleaned up my dorm was, I want to come back. Like, I was crying like every 5 minutes. Shout out to my RA, she's a real one. She hugged me for like 2 minutes. I mean, there was kind of the sense of like, there's like this anticipatory grief that I was having during the last week, and especially hit like during the last 48 hours. And I just didn't think it was going to hit that hard, but it did. I mean, part of it was kind of having to remember, like, I was a student when I came there. So, obviously, it's going to be a different experience compared to coming there as a more traditional tourist or somebody who actually works there. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. But yeah, like, compared to somebody who works there or somebody who lives there more full time, or somebody who kind of goes there and has like a set idea of, okay, I'm going to live here for the rest of my life in some way, shape, or form. Very different energy. Like, on the one hand, I don't see myself living in Japan per se, especially with the current administration that's in Japan right now. But with that said, I do see myself making pretty frequent trips over there, for sure. And I felt like I was kind of getting small hints as to what my future self could be when I was in Japan. Like, small hints. Like, literally, the first 24 hours I was in the country, there's this old lady. I like to call her Starbucks Obachan, because she was on her way to Starbucks when she met me, and we chatted for about 20 minutes in our respective native languages, and it was pretty smooth too. So I started speaking in Japanese. She asked me where I was from. I said, I'm from America. I'm studying at Seinan Gakuin. And then she breaks out in, like, holy smokes, like, perfect English. And we were just chatting like as if we just met in the park just earlier in the week or something. And she told me how the university there where I was studying at, Senangakuin, um, we chatted about the English classes, and apparently they were doing like business English classes in um in the college, and she was taking some of those business English classes. And it's like, and she said like, I'm going to Starbucks to meet up with a friend. Because I usually do that around this time. And I hope you have an enjoyable time, like you have a fun time while you're in Fukuoka. And I'm like, thank you. Like the sweetest old lady ever. Like, if there's one thing that you're gonna come across a lot in Japan, is that you're gonna come across a lot of old ladies who are gonna be very gentle and also very blunt with you. And I appreciate it. I got so many stories like that, which I am excited to share more on the vlog. And I'm promoting the vlogs very heavily because I did promise you guys that, and I'm going to work hard on those vlogs to make sure they're enjoyable. So, cat. I guess. And yet even the cat demeanors in Japan, they are so different compared to the West, even in Europe. Yahoo! Yahoo! That's the other thing that changed with the Japanese. I sound more like I'm from Kyushu. Like, even when I'm part of a language exchange group from Philly, and we do like Japanese and English exchanges. And I talk with some of the people in my group, and I would often greet, instead of with like konnichiwa, konbanwa, ohayou gozaimasu. I still do those, but I'm just greeting people with yahoo, like so easily now. And I did that with my group, and then they were like, you sound like you're from the South. And it's like, well, that's because I have been in the South. I've been in Kyushu for the past month. Yeah, I'm so used to saying yahoo now. But I thought it was just a young person thing, or just like people in their 20s and like maybe like their early 30s would say yahoo to like their friends or people they're close to. No, turns out it's a Kyushu thing. It's a Kyushu thing. I had no idea. I had no idea. And again, Kyushu is slept on in so many ways. Because so many of the popular things that we have, they're from Kyushu. Like Ichiran ramen, for example, and even Ippudo ramen, that's from Kyushu. That's from Fukuoka. Same thing with Leica camera, like the super expensive cameras in the world. Fukuoka. It's from there. And then baseball. Baseball culture. They give the US a run for their money when it comes to how much they love their baseball. I mean, hello. This is literally where Shohei Ohtani is from. LA Dodgers via Fukuoka. I mean, I literally saw Shohei Ohtani's very first baseball bat when he became a Major League Baseball player at Nanzoin Temple at the museum near the station. That's how big it is. Yes, actually. It's just as big with Canadians and hockey. If anything, I think it's much more frenetic, considering that, well, baseball's from the US And yet they give our fandoms a run for their money. I mean, even football, as in soccer, some ways American football too, but more so soccer. They're nuts about it. I went to a baseball game. Like, I did the most American thing when I was in Japan. I went to a baseball game literally the day before Independence Day. And oh my god, they give us a run for their money. Because, I mean, they gave us... okay. They gave us free jerseys. Free jerseys. Free baseball jerseys. And there were like a bunch of foreign players as much as the Japanese ones. And they were cheering hard for both of them. And oh my gosh. They ended the games with a DJ set and a full-on concert. And that was all. And then I also got a pretty good meal on top of that. And that whole thing was only $12 USD. $12. And it came with a free jersey at no additional cost. And it was a pretty famous act too. It was Little Glee Monster. Little Glee Monsters. They did music for I think One Piece and Attack on Titan. I admit I was a little sad that I found out that like one of my favorite artists, Crystal K, was the act for July 1st. I was like, I wish I had known. I would have gone to that concert instead because I love her music so dang much. But Little Glee Monster, that was really good too. I wish I remember what the songs they performed, unfortunately, because like we weren't allowed to film it or take pictures. So I don't even remember what songs they even did. But it was really good. It was totally worth it. It was a lot of fun. And again, fan culture for baseball was just incredible. Because, I mean, there are people who just brought flags. They had these entire chants for the teams and the players and all these different things. They had flags, they had drums, they had horns. Like, as in, like, trumpets. These guys went all out. They make Americans look plain in comparison when it comes to sports. But then again, sports are not a cheap pastime, whether you're a player or you're an audience member. It's not cheap. It's such an opposite motivation too. Like Japan, they know something's popular. They'll try to make it as affordable as possible so that way many people can go as possible. They know they'll make the revenue up through food sales and merch sales. Whereas here in the States, it's like they think like, oh, some people want this. And they think the opposite, like, okay, great, let's just raise the price as much as possible and we'll just make so much more money off of people. And oh yeah, let's raise the concessions while we're at it. And it's like, that is, especially in today's economy, that's the number one way you can go broke and stop a market from succeeding. So counterintuitive. And meanwhile, Japan, they work their butts off to make sure it's as accessible as possible. It's kind of incredible, actually. And admission was only 200 yen. Like, it was practically nothing to us. Then again, probably we got a special student rate for us to get in, but it didn't matter. It was so affordable. And the stadium was filled up. And it was on... Yeah, the light... It even ended up on YouTube. That light show ended up on YouTube as well. I remember that show. But yeah, it was on a Friday. It was on a Friday night. So, of course it would be packed. But I mean, with sports games, you just don't know. But this one was pretty packed. But yeah, that was a good game. It was a lot of fun. And again, DJ set and a concert at the end? Worth it? It was so worth it. It was totally worth it. But yeah. And that's just scratching the surface of what I did. So, I'm trying not to spoil too much, but overall, I had an amazing time in Japan. I want to go back so badly. I miss it so much. I miss my friends. I mean, at least with the time difference, it's not as terrible as it feels. Like, literally right now, it's around 9 a.m. in Japan. So I could easily text them. No problem. Right now. Like, energy-wise, I'm doing okay. So, like, this is like the first normal day I've had since coming back, like, all week. Because most of the time I've been, like, crashing at noon. And then I wake up at, like, 7 or 8 p.m. It sucked. But at least I'm awake now. And I'm glad to be awake right now. But yeah, I miss everybody. Everybody's saying, please come back. 13. It's 13 hours apart from where I live right now. If I were in Europe, it wouldn't be as bad, but it's still difficult. And pardon me for not catching the ad break. The notifications have been terrible today. And you know the funniest thing? I actually was thinking, like, I mean, if I had the funds, and I totally would have done it, if I had the funds, I probably would have gone to, whatchamacallit, the original idea that I had was, after I went to Japan, the original plan was for me to like I thought I was going to go to Bali afterwards, like down in Indonesia. That's what I wanted to do. Maybe go down to Indonesia for a week. But I just didn't have the money. I just didn't have the funds to pull it off. No way. So that's still kind of a pipe dream. But yeah, this trip just made me remember how much I love traveling, how much I miss it, and how much I want to do more of it. And it certainly will give me more projects to do. But of course, the thing that I think that's been really humbling through all of this is that there's a reminder that I gotta start where I'm at. And I think recognizing the fact that I was able to even go to Japan in the first place, it's a reminder that, like, where I'm at, even though, yes, it still has its difficulties, but where I'm at is actually not that bad, considering. Really isn't that bad. So, there's a few more things that I want to share with you guys, and then I'm gonna end off, funnily enough, with the Oracle forecast. So doing a little bit of a reverse order here. But yeah, there's a couple of shops that I checked out while I was in Japan, that I really enjoyed. One which I recently got into. Shout out to Evelyn if she happens to be in the chat today. Um, I mean, I was already into the shop beforehand, but I especially got into it thanks to her. Um, I went to Japanese Lush. Now, I don't know if the Lush Club rewards crosses over international lines, but they have limited edition bath bombs. And so I had to get this one. They have these Shiba Inu bath bombs. And I saw them tested out in the water. It makes this really beautiful glitter. It smells amazing too. Really pretty. Definitely worth it. They had these Dollarma ones as well, but I like the Shiba Inu scents a little bit more. And then this is where it really stood out in terms of how far my Japanese went. Like I said earlier, I went for a tarot reading when I was in Japan. And um that tarot reading told me a lot, and I think it's been like it's been like the overarching theme. Like even my omikuji, like the fortune slips that I kept on pulling when I was there, pretty much said the exact same thing that he was saying, but like the way he broke it down was it really made sense to me. But before I get to that, I think it was around maybe like week 2 or week 3 of the program. I was having a bit of a hard time with the language course. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here. I feel like I'm like just trudging water, etc. I feel like I was kind of going back to what I felt when I was in Middlebury, albeit to not the same extreme. Because at least unlike Middlebury, there was no language pledge. The class, unfortunately, I still had to speak. It was only in Japanese, so I couldn't. So, at least unlike Middlebury, at least I understood what was happening like 80% of the time, but I couldn't ask questions in the same in a very comfortable way in Japanese. In a way, it was kind of a mixed blessing because like Middlebury definitely helped me thrive a bit more in a Japanese only environment, but I feel like still my learning process kind of got a bit hampered by like my brain being in like translation mode maybe like 80% of the time. But I did better. I did better in some ways than I thought I was going to do. But after a certain point, I kind of started feeling a little bit, I guess I was a bit homesick. In particular, even though, yes, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, I felt like the kami were everywhere. Like it felt very embodied. I still felt very, how do I describe it? It was like I felt like there was still a sense of like disconnection or a bit of a sense of loss that I was feeling. And next to the stationery shop, there was this tiny crystal shop called Jushukan. And I felt like I was back in my happy place. Fun fact, crystal shops in Japan, they're called Power Stones. So it's no coincidence that Power Stone's one of my favorite game franchises. Because I mean, got crystals going on. But anyway, I go into this crystal shop, and I just immediately just felt really relaxed. And I end up talking to the shop owner and her husband for like 20 or 30 minutes. just on crystals and incense and traveling. She loves traveling. In particular, she loves Indonesia. Like basically Southeast Asia. She loves Indonesia, Thailand, and Singapore. And she even has gone to Tibet, and she's actually met the Dalai Lama as well. Like, it's a really tiny shop, too. And I end up buying this incense that she got from Bali, Indonesia. And it has this really, really nice, really soothing, like almost amber-like, but also flowery scent. Like, I've been using it more and more for meditations recently, and it's really nice. It has this really nice vibe to it. But yeah, this is handmade in Indonesia. And then, oh yeah, also Malaysia and Thailand, they're also very popular vacation destinations for those who live in Fukuoka as well. There's like a lot of flights from there to Southeast Asia. So it wasn't out of the possibility that I could do that. But yeah, oh, the smell. When it's unlit, it smells amazing. And then when it's lit, it hits some other warmth. Like, yeah, the people from that shop, like, this incense in a nutshell was what their vibe was. It was so soothing. And we just ended up we were chatting entirely in Japanese about their travels, about their spirituality, and about various things for like 15, 20 minutes. And on my final day, I bought this aura spray that the owner handcrafts herself with this quartz. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me see if you can. It makes a nice jingle whenever you shake it. And from what I understand on the wrapper and the back, you basically use it for like, it's like an all-purpose cleansing spray. And you can use it especially if you happen to be in places where, I mean, like situations like right now where I might come across a lot of people all at once, or if you just need just a little extra boost in your aura. And yeah, she handcrafts these herself. She charges it on like this very giant clear quartz cluster. And then she takes like a piece of it and then like puts it in whatever bottle that she has. And then you can like refill it in this giant decanter with this big clear quartz cluster in it. And she said to me to like, come back to Fukuoka soon, we want you back. And I was like, okay, I will find a way to come back. So, and to make this even more poetic, I went to this really gorgeous temple in the middle of this place called Ohori Park. I really like the way that the station, like this, the subway station voice says it. Ohori Koen! Ohori Koen! It's just this really sweet voice. But yeah, around there, there's a few notable temples up there. One of which is what they call the Cyber Jinja, which is a jinja, like a shrine dedicated to Inari that has neon signage. It's pretty cool. But before all that, there's a really small shrine just before the hill where the Cyber Jinja is located. And this is the part that really hit me, because like I think this is where like intuition really comes into play here, because the shrine's name literally means go and come back safely. And the prayer that I had was something along the lines of that. And so the fact that I had that prayer, and like, I didn't even pay attention to the sign until after I finished my prayers at that spot. The fact that that was the symbolism, mind blown. Mind blown. Usually fishermen usually use that shrine. And the fact that like I did that without even thinking that was precisely what it was for. The woman was too stunned to speak. Too stunned. Ah! Yeah, you can imagine my reaction when I actually figured that out. I actually recorded it as well, which is a rare form for me, but I actually recorded it. So a gape. But yeah. Let's bring in some of that energy in here. Ooh, well, that's nice. Yeah. The other nice thing is that they also have a resident tarot reader. Well, in her case, she actually specializes in Lenormand, which is like a very elaborate French system of divination. This lady specializes in Lenormand readings. I have yet to get a Lenormand reading, but I really want to try it out the next time I'm there. I'm hoping that I aim to get my fluency a lot better before I get back in the next time. So good. So glad I got this incense. But yeah. The other thing that is definitely a good thing to get when you're going to Japan, besides the omikuji, the fortune slips, which I talked about one of them in my recent TikTok that I just uploaded. It's omamori, or protective amulets. And I gave away most of them. I gave some to my family. And these are ones that I got for myself. I got 4. One of which I'm not going to unseal on camera. It's very special. But I'll show at least 3 of them. One I got... The very first one I got for myself, which I think it worked, certainly. And I'm hoping that it works through my... I hope it works through my my school time as a tutor as well. So this first one, it's the good academic work one. This one I got from Momiji Hachimangu, and Momiji means like maple leaf, so that's why there's maple leaves on here. It's the shrine near the shrine near the campus, so it felt perfect. Even though, ironically, Dazaifu is the one that's actually more well known when it comes to academic endeavors. So I got a similar omamori, from there for my cousin. Shout out to my cousin who does this. I'm gonna be taking this off pretty soon, actually. So yeah, she did this before I left, which I really appreciate. Then this one I got from Nanzoin Temple, which is like a Buddhist temple, which is part of a different leg of a Kanon pilgrimage. Apparently, this is the temple that we went to was like part of the last leg of the journey. It's part of a series of, I think, 80 temples, and Ooh, another thing that's good to have is this book called the Goshuincho, which I will probably show probably the next stream. It's just scratching the surface about what I've been doing in Japan, but there's so much more that I gotta share in terms of both the vlogs, but also just in general stories of me being there. But yeah, non-Zoyan in particular, its purpose is mainly for wish fulfillment, and in particular when it comes to good luck and abundance. So I got this omamori for financial success, like big financial success, because I could use that. Foreshadowing for what I'm about to talk about later, about some of the updates that I've done to the channel recently. Yeah, basically Japanese version of Feihu. That's basically what it is. And then I went back to Dazaifu for the Great Purification Ceremony. Spoiler alert, I wasn't able to participate in it directly, but I was able to actually witness it, which was pretty cool. And so I witnessed it, and then since I'm basically in the shadow period of my great Yakudoshi, which is basically like the misfortune year, essentially. Since I'm going through that at this point, I figured I might as well get the recommended omamori for that, which is, I mean, I didn't go through the ceremony, which I might do that when I'm there the next time, because I didn't know what to ask for. I mean, looking back, I did not think about researching what ceremony to ask for, let alone where to go. But then again, the money would have been really hard to come by at that point. But I did get myself an omamori to rid myself, like, to basically protect from bad luck and misfortune. And this is typically what you get when you're going through your Yakudoshi as well. So if anybody's in their early to mid 30s, if you're a woman, might be worth getting this one. Memorize the kanji. Yakudoshi. I could type in the name of that. It basically means like misfortune years. AFABs, they have, I think there's like 5, 2 of which hit in your 30s, and then AMABs, it hits pretty early on in the midlife crisis. And then I think the only one that like both genders share is when you're like 65, I think. But anyway, Yakudoshi. I'm gonna look that up. But basically, long story short, there's a ceremony you do. It only takes like 15 minutes to do it, and then you also get yourself one of these omamori, and then you basically just cover for the entirety of your year and then some. But yeah, got myself some omamori to kind of get through the remainder of this year. Just to get through it and just change things around. So there's so many more souvenirs that I got, but we're gonna have to wait on those for a little bit because, well, they're still coming, but they should be coming pretty soon at the rate that they're going, thankfully. So I feel pretty, and I put the post service on the hunt, so I think we should be, and the good thing is it passed through customs, so I think it should be okay. They just need to just track down where precisely it is. But yeah, now that we're getting to like the card reading portion of this thing, as you probably saw in the chat earlier, I'm trying a few new mediums and stuff to start to share my skills a bit more. And I know there's been encouragement in terms of, I know, took me 2 hours, but hey, if you wanted to hear about Japan, granted, this is very out of order, but I wanted to talk about it. So there's that. Sorry, that was what I'm calling. But anyway, I know, but like, I know people really wanted to hear more about Japan, so like, I really just wanted to like take my time and talk about it, at least as much as I could without spoiling too much of the vlogs. And also, it's just encouraging me to like, let me do the vlogs. So there's a lot that has changed as a result of the trip, which I will talk about. But yeah, everybody, but yeah, a lot of people have been encouraging me to find some ways to monetize my skills. So I'm experimenting a little bit. It's not the end of the stream. This is just showing you. So, right now, not there. Hold on. There we go. So, granted, the images are not that different, but if you check out my Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/Tonders, as of yesterday, I started up a new special, which is the 2,000 yen special, which is about the average of what I spent on the readings that I got, and they're good readings too. So I felt like, why don't I offer that for you guys too, to make it affordable, and also to kind of bring in some new energy to the platform. So basically, the live read is now an independent listing now, so it's its own listing now, so you can just request that and you can just get a reading live from me one-on-one. And then from the moon through the star offerings, they will be offered at $12, which is at this time the current equivalent of 2,000 yen. Which is the way you can actually get these readings. This is probably the lowest that they're gonna be for these readings. So if you want a card pull from me, that's a way to do it. Other ways you can help out. I recently started a new page, which I know for YouTube, especially, you guys probably have seen it. It's like a live stream exclusive-ish thing. It's called Hypesy. I just started using it. But essentially it's like a live stream moderation / spiritual entrepreneurship site. So it's kind of similar to what I did with like some of the previous hotlines I've done, but unlike the previous hotlines I've done, I can actually promote my social media services a lot more readily compared to the previous services where it was pretty much like a one-way traffic thing where I couldn't talk about my social media stuff or presence at all. This one actually encourages it. So if you want to try it out, please check this out. And especially if you make a referral to like my link, essentially, I get a commission as well, especially with this next 30 days. So please feel free to try that out if you're curious about it. It looks pretty new from what I can see, but at least I can actually, again, talk about my social media endeavors beyond that site, which is great. So, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, yes. So, as you can see as well, my fundraising goal has changed a little bit. There's a concert happening in August, the Queen Herbie concert, because she's coming to my hometown, and I really want to go, but I'm a little short. I'm a little short on the ticket, and like I said, it just would be awesome if I could actually go to this. And so the other thing that this trip has really taught me is like how to be vulnerable with my needs, which it's still very scary to do. But y'all have been so supportive of me in the past, and it's like, you know what, let me just do a call again and see what happens. If it's meant to be, it'll be. Just like at this point, just for me, it's just to like let go and trust in the universe. And it's like, if it's not meant to be, it's like there's always the next tour. Even though I really want to go this time. But if there's one thing that I got taught was to have patience and to have trust that whatever is meant to work out will work out. And what I found really interesting is that apparently this story is pretty universal. I thought that was this was only like an Aesop's fable kind of thing, but even Japan, but also even African folktales have a variation of the tortoise and the hare. And the reading that I got from this one tarot reader that I met in Japan, and it's the tarot bar that I mentioned in the Discord server, and I even love the name of it. It's called Soul in Attic, in Hakata. The old guy who runs the place, he's really cool. He emphasized, like, at times where it feels like everybody's like asking you to be a hare, it's okay to be a tortoise and slow down and take your time and enjoy and smell the flowers. So that's what I'm trying to do. Because, I mean, they say, like, yeah, going steady and slow doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be, like, a slug's pace. Even though it kind of feels that way sometimes. But I'm trying my best to, like, be more patient. Even though I admit the patience feels like it takes forever, I have to be honest, but I'm trying, okay? It's like I know it's gonna get there. I think it's just part of that dread is just I blink and I'm 64 and I finally fulfill the things that I want to do. I know you've been saying that, but it's like, okay. Apparently it took an old guy using Google Translate for me to finally understand it. Yeah, it took an old guy using Google Translate. It's like, okay, universe, I understand. I just need to just let go and let God. But yeah, it's like, I think you might have laughed a lot. You might have had a good time being there, honestly. You would have been laughing your ass off. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, my mic went. But yeah, you would have been laughing your ass off, I think. Because, I mean, you would have been laughing your butt off seeing that. But yeah. But I know, like, the other thing that's been telling me, it's like, the things that I've been doing so far, they are paying off. And it's just been... It's like, it's just, at this point, it's just to just relax and keep going. And it's, yeah, again, I just get so nervous about, like, I go this pace and I blink and I'm 65 and I'm still in the same place. But I know I'm not in the same place as I was before. And especially being this vulnerable. Something that I'm not used to doing, but I'm going to take it easy on myself as much as I can. But anyway, now we're getting to the card reading portion of this, so let's go ahead and get this going. If I end up getting blocked by an ad, huge apologies. Thankfully, I do not delete my on-demands, so that's one thing that you'll be guaranteed to have. So, especially since there are all these major astrological transits going on right now with like the planets aligning this weekend, and then there was also this basket formation that's happening in like our astrological charts. Feel free to check it out. It's like a once in a lifetime thing that's going on. And then apparently we're getting into an eclipse season. There's also a full moon happening on Wednesday. There's just so much happening this week. So I figured pulling some stuff here would be really helpful. So, Monday through Friday. So, let's just see what we got. So, Monday, we got the Fly. Doing some cloud cards this week. So, a little different compared to my tarot stuff. So, the Fly, it's kind of a poetic thing to start the first week with, because like the first day of the week with, because the Fly was one of, I mean, besides the Windy, the Fly was like one of the first ones that Sakura had to capture, and it also ended up being like one of the most helpful and also transformative cards in the series, because she went from riding her staff to literally flying with her own wings once she got more powerful. And so, similarly, here's an interesting thing. On TikTok, I pulled 3 cards for the collective there, which was the Wood, the Maze, and the Float. And the Fly feels like the Float, but with a lot more agency. So the Float, there's like a kind of it's more like a focus on taking a higher or different perspective. The Fly, it's more so, yes, going above to see a different perspective, but then also moving towards something, like moving towards whatever shift that you need to make in that perspective, and not just witnessing it. So there's action as well as perception. So having the two sensations work together. So there's very much first an examination of the situation, assessment of your options, and then you move towards the action that you need to do to be successful in the aims that you want to do. And intentionality. That's a call for you in the beginning of this week. Then Tuesday, we've got the Fight. So this is where strategic thinking really comes in, because a lot of people tend to focus on the Fight as just, oh, I gotta defend myself, I gotta fight, I gotta do this thing, I've got to hit where it hurts, essentially. But a lot of it is more so in terms of strategy, of knowing when to negotiate and when to surrender, knowing when to strike and knowing when to switch tactics. And the Fight in particular is kind of calling you to channel your inner Bruce Lee and pay attention to where to channel your resources. Where do you need to have the most effective technique and adaptability and flexibility towards the situation? Because sometimes being a hard wall and fighting and resisting can often end up being an unnecessary task. So if anything, it's more important to have, kind of similar to the Fly, it's important to have an aim towards your tactics and see where you can be the most effective during this time. So Wednesday, similar idea here. We got the Move. So the Move, especially with like a full moon happening this Wednesday, it's very much about dodging bad vibes. Dodging bad vibes, moving towards the things that are meant for you, and moving towards the things that are more beneficial. Moving towards things that are more beneficial towards your energy and your time and what is necessary. I think about like the Peach Cub protection rap, where she's like, I don't F with bad vibes, I ain't scared to cut ties. Very much this is your thing for Wednesday. Pay attention to what does not vibe with you. Put it to bed. Put it to rest. Get out and walk away. Bye, Felicia. That's the thing you gotta do, especially since we're in a fire season right now. We're in Leo season in the middle of summer. Great time to burn away some lines. And then after you burn away your lines on Thursday, we got to rebuild again with the create. Because we really do, we have a lot more power over our reality than we think we do. We are powerful beyond measure. We've got the witchy vibes. We got the magic within us, because as Queen Herbie has always said with her deck, you are the magic. You are the magic. You are the magic. And a card just fell out. Hold on. And honestly, the card that fell out was kind of perfect. Busta Rhymes. Got a lot I want to say a library. So if there's a lot that you wanted to say it out on Thursday. Sing it if you need to. There is a lot. There is a lot that needs to be expressed here. Gosh. I am not aiming right, but clearly. But yeah, clearly pay attention to your words and make sure you put them towards the places that need extra support during this time. Wednesday, you're clearing out the bad vibes. Thursday, you are reinforcing what needs to be reinforced, which is your dreams, your new mindset, your new energy, the better life that you promised yourself tomorrow. Make it your today instead. And I like the song too, because I mean, it has like this really good rap section. So I recommend it. I'll type it down later. But finally, for Friday, after all the strategizing and switching tactics and burning away what no longer serves and creating what does, we got the erase. You got a clean slate. You've got a clean slate to work with, my friend. It's a permission slip for you to move forward and do things differently. And I know there's that frustration, especially like in the second half of the year. It's like, I said I'll do things differently, and yet I fell back in the same patterns. Yes. And you still got like 5 months left to work with. It's not over. You can still do things differently. Obviously, you're thinking differently with the fact that you've been able to pay attention to the frustrations of those repeated habits. But now you can actually approach those repeated habits with a different set of eyes. And yeah, latter half of the year means a new school year. So, clean slate that way too. So, you do not have to cling on to these roles or these messages that haven't been serving you. You can put it down. If there's stuff you still need to sift through from those old messages, you can pick it up and sift it through later. Right now, breathe. You need rest. And the final thing that I got is hacky sack. Time to be the flower, not the bumblebee. I think the biggest vibe that I'm getting from both of these songs is it's okay to create, express, and produce. And I mean, we need space for witnessing too, but if you've been feeling like you've been sitting around for too long, it's okay to act. If anything, we need your arts. We need your creations. We need your voice. We need you. So, allow yourself to shine the way you want to shine. And especially, do not let the practicalities get you down. I know it's so easy to, especially with the way people tend to talk about the arts as a rich person's pursuit. If you could see yourself doing it even without all the money in the world, that's already half the battle won. Okay? You're already in a better place. So keep that voice going. So with that is your week. I might come back on Wednesday for the full moon. Do a little something special for that. But yeah, we got your week. We got your 2 songs here, which I'm gonna type up in the chat. And I just realized I forgot to turn back on the chat bot for the queue. But we'll get that back on before the next stream. But anyway, with that, we have officially finished the first stream that I did since I got back from Japan. Hope y'all had a great time. I certainly did. And keep an eye out for the vlogs coming up in late August. So we're going to be doing some Study Bob vlogs. In the meantime, I've been putting up some shorts on my TikTok. So you can see snippets of what I'm going to talk about during the week. Not during the week, during the vlogs. But the vlogs will obviously be more in depth. So keep an eye out for those. So in terms of more streams, I'm still figuring that out in terms of my new schedule. But definitely there's gonna be like more tarot on the horizon. So Charity of the Season is the Betweeniors network, which is a network for senior citizens to connect better with their communities and find ways of getting more social involvement in the retirement years. I also help out run a Japanese English online exchange group from Philly, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Japan time. The Discord listening party, I decided to resume it in August. I originally was aiming to restart it this month, but yeah, with how little time there is left, there's no way I could probably bring it back up in time. So I'm going to restart it in August. And speaking of listening to music, Queen Herbie is doing her Isle of Queen tour right now. It looks so much fun, and I am aiming to go for the one the first, but I'm just a little bit short. So if anybody could help out with that, that would be awesome. Hello, G-Rock. We're just getting to the end of the stream here, but I'll be back pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that. So if you want to get some readings from me, I'm currently doing a 2,000 yen special between now and the day before my birthday. So the Moon to the Star tiers will be $12, aka the equivalent of 2,000 yen. So it's the lowest it's probably going to be. And then the live reads are now their own listing, so you don't have to supplement it unless you want a recording. So that's the only thing that you need to keep in mind. Other ways you can help out: you can continue tuning into the channel via ad revenue or turbo. You can also donate. Coffee is where I can get it the most directly, but if you put in bits, it'll come out as a $50 payout. Or you can purchase the items in the coffee shop or in the new site that I'm trying out, which is called Hypesy, which you can purchase either live or you can purchase after you jump off the streams. So here are all the social media places where you can see me outside of this channel. I have been uploading on TikTok quite a bit recently, and I am working on some videos for my second channel, Theological Otaku. I also have a Substack, thirdnerd.substack.com. I've also been working on articles for that one. I've been really taking my time with those ones, but the moment you see the post, you will know. I also have a coffee shop, coffee.com/Tonders. I also have a throne wish list, and especially since my birthday is coming up, if you want to support me that way or want to send me something, you can just check out that. And again, I started up a new site called Hypesy to share more of my spiritual entrepreneurship. So if you want to try some readings there and you find like my coffee page is a little bit high, Hypesy may be another way that you can support me that way. Finally, this episode was filmed in the homelands of the Nanticoke and Lenape indigenous peoples. To find out more about indigenous history, please feel free to check out native-land.ca, and it will also link you to the various tribal websites where you can find out more information. And I especially implore anybody who is of Asian or African descent to contribute to the site, because I had a similar thing when I was in Japan. I think it was the Jomon, the Azumi, and there's like one other population that's in southern Japan, but the way that Japan describes indigeneity is a little different from how it is in the US and even some European countries. So some stuff is kind of hard to track down, and so it's all the more reason why I think it's very important that we actually acknowledge it, if anything, so that way we can talk about it more easily. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to today's stream. Hope everybody had a great time. I certainly did. Did not think I was going to go this long, but here we are. I'm a little bit out of practice, certainly when it comes to expediting my information, but you know what, between recovering from jet lag and also just missing you guys so much, like being on the air and all that, I think the length was certainly worth it. I certainly had a great time being back and stretching out my card reading sea legs. Anyway, take care everybody, drink plenty of water, stay safe out there, and as always, may your heart be your guiding key. Till next time, I'll see you later. And for those who are watching live on Twitch, stand by for a raid. For those who are watching on YouTube or who are watching the on-demand footage, this is the end of the video. Till next time, I'll see you later. Bye, everybody. Shane.